How's everyone doing today? Today I will be talking about More Damn Lies and Statistics by Joel Best. First, I just want to give my opinion on the book, and I think actually the book was very informative, and I'm starting to understand how the stories tie in with each other, and how the books we're reading have something to do with one another. And first, I would like to explain basically what I think he's talked about throughout the book, and basically Joel Best, he basically accounted how statistics are produced and how they are misused and used by people from journalists to researchers and things of that nature. And throughout the book, he splits the chapters up into different types of statistics. For instance, the first chapter is missing numbers, basically. And basically, throughout this chapter, he explains how the media uses a particular event to uh, induce people into believing that this event is actually worse. It's actually worse than it truly is. For instance, he used Columbine. Columbine, when it happened, media outlets used this in order to shed light on school shootings and made it seem as if school shootings happened far more frequent than they actually did. And because of this, many people began to fear school shootings, and school shootings became much more of a much bigger of a problem than it actually should have been, because school shootings actually didn't happen as often. And the next chapter he talked about was confusing numbers, basically. And throughout this chapter, he explains how researchers and journalists they use these statistics to bewilder individuals instead of informing individuals. For instance, like they use general terms with confusing statistics. They use terms such as average, and they use a lot of generalities, and being that most people have different definitions of what average actually means, this leads to a lot of misunderstandings and a lot of different definitions for a particular term that this researcher might have had a different definition for. And and basically that familiarity could breed confusion pretty much, because your familiar might not be the same as my familiar, even though we discuss the same term, even though we're talking about the same thing. And within the next chapter, he discussed he called it scary numbers. Basically, these are the statistics that play to our fears, and that make us fear things happening, make us fear things from the past that may happen in the future. And he basically talked about that many people think, because many people tend to believe that things are actually getting worse, when in most cases they're getting better or they're the same, simply because of what they see or what they hear, like such as crimes. Many people may think that certain type of crimes are worse when actually they're better or they're even. And because of the media outlets portraying these crimes to be far worse than they actually are, many people tend to believe that, and they feed into this fear. Okay, in the next chapter, I think he talked about authoritative numbers. And these are numbers that they claim don't deserve, that demand respect but don't deserve the respect in which they demand. And excuse me. And basically, these authoritative numbers are basically the numbers that of those in authority in authoritative positions. And these numbers basically does nothing but vouch for the numbers in which who was given by those of the other statistics, like the journalists and all those individuals. And they basically vouch for these statistics instead of giving you the mistakes made while getting these statistics, and all the variables that were left out during these statistics. And last, I will discuss I will discuss the question in which we were asked, and that's what makes for good data. And basically, I think that what makes for good data is literacy on the particular subject in which you are conducting data, and a unbiased viewpoint. Because a lot of data is skewed because an individual going in conducting this data wants a certain response, or wants a certain answer to his question. He already has a question, or how already has an answer within his mind that he already thinks he knows the answer to. So he does data in order to he does data in order to present the fact that he is actually right about the situation, instead of pertaining to data that should be pertained through him doing his research, rather than what he thinks or what he knows. So he basically let his bias for a particular subject skew the way in which he conducts his data, which screws the whole statistical analysis. And we know good data when we see it, because it is unbiased, and it is it is backed up with many facts, many statistical facts, many historical facts, and this data can be proven backwards and forwards without having any flaws within it. Because a lot of data, they give you numbers and they give you things that happen, but they can't necessarily prove this data, because this data has yet to be proven. And these statistics in which they present, they're false. So good data is basically data that is true, in my opinion. Good data is data that can be proven, and good data is data that is conducted with statistical literacy in mind, with knowing what you're doing in mind, and having a goal in which you're trying to achieve, or a question you're trying to answer, and not letting anything affect the answer to that question, regardless of what you may believe is the answer. Letting the research speak for itself. I think that's what good data is. So that's my talk for today, and you guys have a good day.